Hey guys, it's Oliver from Spitfire Audio today with an in-action video for the fantastic LCO strings library. I'm going to be looking at a two-part composition. The first part is already written and the second part I'm going to write here on the spot with you guys. And the reason I'm doing this is because I feel this LCO strings library has two major qualities. Number one, it's absolutely fantastic what it's built for. So it's for this edgy kind of contemporary sounds, using kind of different articulations, kind of Mika Levi style. And then the second part, I want to show you how you can use some of the articulations fantastically to just sprinkle a little bit of magic on top of your existing composition, mix it with other libraries, or even mix it up with some live instruments, live recorded instruments. Let's just look at part number one here. I'm using this slackened effect, which I specifically love. Really cool effect, specifically useful, I'm guessing, also for cinematic kind of purposes. I'm using the violas here, tremolo sul pont. And everything is recorded in a very dry spot, so it's everything really kind of close and honest and raw, and I just absolutely love it. It gives you loads of microphone, mix and effects choices as well. Here for the violins in my intro I've used slackened as well, and if I zoom in to widen the stereo field, here I duplicated the track, I panned one hard left, the other one hard right, and I kind of moved them, if I zoom in a little bit more, moved them a little bit. I kind of adjusted the volume to achieve this kind of wide sound. If we just listen to those two solo. And you can hear it's one starts a bit earlier and it kind of creates this really wide stereo field. Here the scrubs as well, I really love them. I'm using here mix number one. Really cool and delicate. You will see later on if we put that on top of some other strings or some like more straight strings, this just adds a little bit of liveness and a bit of movement into your composition. Let's just have a quick listen to the first part of my composition here. And so on. I'm kind of building up, and here I forgot to mention I'm using this patch I kind of built myself. So I've loaded two instruments into one kind of MIDI channel. So if I'm playing this, I'm using wide vibrato and bridge scrape. So every time I hit a new note, it does a bridge scrape. I kind of like that sound. Really cool sound there. So let's move on into my next part here. So I've really gone into town in this part number one, and I've used most of the articulations just kind of to test it out a little bit and to demonstrate as well. So here I'm using mix number two, the long ones, basses and cello, and it's slightly distorted. So after the change, after I've built up, I want to make it a bit heavy and a bit more ballsy, I guess. The wide whip here again in the violins, just to play it separately. Sul tasto, you'll see a bit later on I'm using it. It's just makes it really beautiful and puts that little bit of glitter on top. And again, very close sound, very, very nice. Granular trems as well, to add a bit of roughness and dirt. And here I'm using the short slackened sounds, so just solo it. I'm kind of using that throughout the whole second half here. And here I've duplicated it. I put on a U pitch and pitched it up an octave, sounding like this. Kind of a slight synthetic sound, but that's what I aimed for. And then here, this one is granular to normal, very useful I find for like changes into a next chord or into a next section. So let's just have a quick listen into my middle section here. And then I haven't used any other library apart from this hit here, Albin 5. Then I'm changing timbre here. I'm using here what I've showed you before with the viola. I'm using it in the cello, using open granular to normal. Really cool sounds. And then here for the kind of top line, I'm using the wide vips. And then I'm using here twitchy ensemble, I've called it. But what I did is I created my own ensemble here. I've used violins, violas, basses and cello. And I kind of chosen here the twitchy patch. And for the low ends, I've chosen the long so it doesn't get too wonky. So it's quite a nice sound. It's not quite perfect, but in a beautiful way. And if we just give it a listen, these two together. So my top line with the wide vib and the twitchy kind of articulations on the bottom. And then here I'm using the jelly scrubs as well, the ones I've shown you before in the violin. It's like kind of a whispering sound there. such a beautiful quality. As I always stress, please use the dynamics and expression with our library to give a little bit more life into your performance. So this was part number 1 of my in-action video. If you're interested in the construction and making of the track you've just heard, please watch part number 2. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Bye bye.